I'm set.
We're ready. We're rolling.
Adam Jettleson, spokesman for the Majority Leader Harry Reid. Thank you for joining us on Washington
Thank
Journal.
you for having me. Pleasure to represent Senator Harry Reid.
I wanted to ask you about where we are. It is December the 2nd, 11 days away from December the 13th. What is Senator Reid's expectations of the budget conference, which, as you know, has a report due that day, has a deadline that day?
Right, but before I actually answer the question, I think it's very important to mention and set the pretext of what's actually happened in the last couple of months. As you know, that we actually went through a government shutdown. The Congress did not pass the budget. It's supposed to pass its budget. It didn't fund the government, and we ended up in a shutdown. We can't really afford to do that. It cost us $24 billion in revenue. It cost us 2.5% drop in our GDP for that particular rate, and it put the credit of the United States in jeopardy. So we can't really afford another shutdown. To answer your question, what Senator Reid expects is a bipartisan solution, not brinkmanship again, and we can't afford another shutdown. So there'll be some sort of cut on federal sequestration, and there's going to be some discussions on revenue. But we can't afford another shutdown. The stakes are too high. We just cannot afford another shutdown.
What do you think that the lessons that the Democrats learned coming out of that shutdown?
Well, the lessons I learned are very simple. That we have to think about these things in terms of bipartisanship, no brinkmanship. We have to approach this budget problem in the spirit of cooperation and collaboration, and not disunion and disunity. And that's an important thing. It's not only a lessons for the Democrats; it's also a lessons for the Republicans, because having made the government go through this and having the American people go through this misery, they don't want that to happen again. And I'm sure that this time we will reach an agreement, because the stakes are too high. We can't afford another shutdown. It puts our entire country in jeopardy.
I want to look at another topic with the weekend's news of the Healthcare.gov website, right. And some accomplishments, at least in some repairs being done to that website.
Right.
What do you see as the possibility in the Senate that Harry Reid, that the Democrats would be amenable to any sorts of changes in the Affordable Care Act?
Well, as far as the changes are concerned, I mean, we are always open to see how we can actually move forward with the Affordable Act, not in terms of not tying to the fiscal debate, but how can we actually make it improvement? Affordable Act is a basic right. It's not a privilege, and I think it's very important that all Americans actually receive that. And I believe that once the website problems are actually solved going forward, you will actually see that all Americans of both political party, Republicans and Democrats, will really receive the benefits of it, just like they do with Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid. We had the same problem 50 years ago when we rolled out Medicare and Medicaid. We went through the wrinkles, and after that, look at the benefits of all Americans are receiving. So I'm confident that going forward, we'll get over that. And the website has actually significantly improved what it was from October 1st, which today we can handle about 50,000 users at the same time. That's a good amount of 80% of Americans who are enrolled on it can actually go through the entire thing.
Given the timing of the launch of the website in October the 1st, which was the beginning of the government shutdown,
right,
and shortly thereafter we had increasingly active negotiations in Geneva on the Iranian nuclear crisis.
Right.
And do you think either the president or the Senate Majority Leader's eye was taken off the ball in terms of the Healthcare.gov rollout, in terms of the affordable? That was an important deadline to reach.
Right.
Do you think that there was any distraction there, particularly with the president's attention being turned to foreign affairs at a critical juncture like this?
On the contrary, Senator Reid knows that this particular negotiation were going on for about 6 months at a different level. So this wasn't just a coincidence. It wasn't a distraction, despite what the Republicans think. Senator Reid thinks that this was the first step and an historic step, given that it's been 37 years since any Western powers have been able to reach an agreement. So contrary to what the Republicans think, that this was a distraction, no, it was actually an historic first step.
In terms of the budget agreement that's due on December the 13th, tie this into the Affordable Care Act. Does it make sense that there be some negotiation over cutting costs in the Affordable Care Act and making that part of the budget agreement as well? Is that something that the Democrats could give if the Republicans were to give on issues like tax tax increases.
Well, as I said earlier, the President and Senator Harry Reid has said unequivocally that as far as the negotiations are concerned, the ACA is the law of the land, and it should not be tied to any fiscal negotiations. Those are all terminal issues. We have to move forward with the Affordable Act because what it actually provides for the American people, which is the basic right of basic health care, and that's important. As far as the negotiations are concerned, everything is on the table with respect to cutting entitlements. But as far as the ACA is concerned, there are other alternative ways we can actually do it.
But Senator Cruz has pointed out to the 40 or so bills that have passed in the House in terms of changes to the Affordable Care Act, says that Senator Reid is stonewalling on taking those up.
Well, what Senator Cruz was actually doing was asking Senator Reid to pass the bills on a piecemeal basis. We are a country that we can't have some families put food on the table while others not. We have an obligation to all of the citizens to have put food on the table. So just passing one bill and not passing the other one is actually unfair.
Adam Gentleson, spokesman for Harry Reid, thank you for joining us.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.